Hello again. Greetings, WordPressers. Welcome to the channel again. Jakson here. Right, let's get stuck into it. Missing blocks. Well, it's not a missing block. It's more of a sort of block that's there, but you might not even find it. And when you do find it, it's got a few shortcomings. You may know this as normally as an accordion or a FAQ section or a toggle content section, something like that, in normal sort of web creator page builder speak. But when you search for accordion in the block library, you get something called details. When you search for toggle, you get something called details. And if you just search for FAQ, of course, there isn't one. Anyways, details is actually the correct terminology. Semantically, it's actually correct, because that's what 9 out of 10 ways to do an accordion or a toggle or an FAQ kind of like presentation is actually using the details HTML markup. And it's kind of correct that they called it that. It's just like, well, you can't really find it very well. And by the way, by default, it looks a bit like this. And that's not exactly what we were looking for when we were thinking of something that perhaps should look a bit more like this. You see, we've got a lot more sexier presentation, all that sliding in and sliding out and animations, and look at that icon change and the icons on the other side. But let me tell you, it's super easy to actually take something as core as, you know, the regular details block and turn it into something like our beautiful, sexy FAQ section. And in this WordPress tutorial for WordPress core blocks and Gutenberg, let's take the details block and knock it into shape. Right then, shall we? Look, here we got a page, and we've seen this example here before. The details block, well, 3 of them, and all a little bit kind of boring. Let's sort that out, because what we want is something a bit more like this, don't we? Click on, click off, click another one. One opens, one closes. Sliding in and out. We do love a bit of sliding in and out now, don't we, folks? So let's get to it. Into the back end we go. It's a pretty vanilla install of WordPress. I've got the starter block theme version 2. My gift to you, dear WordPressers. Links in the description for the free download. Great starter block theme and all that sort of stuff. Right, let's go to pages and get a look at that home page. Open in a new tab. Get down to our FAQ. So here's our FAQ section here. And you see we've got the 3 details. They're grouped. Got the 3 details here. So first things first, I reckon let's get some styling on the actual block so it feels a bit more like a defined section, if you catch my drift. Let's make it black on the background and text is white. That's cool. Let's get some padding on that. Little padding. That's cool. I mean, the design isn't too rounded, but let's put a little bit of radius on there as well. And there we go. So we're looking slightly better. Quick review in the front end. Yeah. I mean, it feels better. Still, like, you know, quite a lot of undefined stuff going on here. Let's try and style it a little bit. So we got the details here. Right. I reckon the headline, the summary as it's called, should be bold. So let's get the appearance open and put that to bold, or maybe at least semi-bold. And you see what happens here. The paragraphs below it take on the CSS from its parent, the details parent. So we got to group those together and put our own styling on those. Let's get that typography going as thin. So that's cool. And also let's get that back to our settings and make it full width. Okay, so that's much better. Maybe the text is too big. Maybe we want that a little smaller. So let's do that on the group as well. So then it flows down to the content. Let's change it to small. In fact, let's change it to 1.1. And let's get that block spacing a little tighter. Yeah, that is a lot better. So we're just going to delete our 2 others and just duplicate these to save us having to copy that across. And this is one of the sort of disadvantages of not having sort of global styles for, say, a group of details. An accordion block, as it were. Let's save that. Quick review on the front end. So I'm quite happy with this as it stands. If you just want to, like, okay, throw in that kind of toggling accordion style stuff, then we're kind of done. I mean, I would say that if we were leaving it as is at this point, what I would do is on the group, I would say put in some padding on the left and have that say 20px. You see what I mean? So it kind of feels a little bit more like separate to the icon. But that's just like a side note. Ignore me. Let's get rid of that, because what we want to do is actually change the icon. Remember, what we're looking for is this beautiful stuff. Very, very cool. Right, let's start with this icon. Now this, if we inspect that again, is within the summary, and it's actually the marker of the summary. And so what we need to do is create a new rule for the summary and put in that pseudo element, ;: marker. Let's bring that up a little bit. And we'll do display, actually we'll do content nothing, and it goes away. And just for belt and braces, we'll put a display none on there as well. So that's cool. So let's copy that rule, right click, copy that rule. And you see now we've kind of got, we're getting towards that similar vibe on our demo. Let's get that into our CSS. Now, like I said, I've got the blank block theme starter version 2 available for download today. The link is in the description. And with that, you get to be able to pop styles in the style.css of your block theme. If you don't know how to do that, you've got a different type of theme. Maybe get a child theme going. Lots of links and resources in the description below to allow you to do that. Let's start a new section here called FAQs. And we'll put that in. One little caveat is that this doesn't work for WebKit browsers, i.e. Safari, Android, I think, perhaps. There's quite a few others. PlayStation maybe, or something weird like that. So we've got to sort that out. So if we go to Safari here, here's the same page. Let's just give that a refresh to get other styles on there. You see that? It's still there, that icon. Everything else is cool. With Safari, you've got to get in this little baby here. This is WebKit's version of marker. So we literally need to put that as part of our rule here and save that, and back to our Safari, and all is good. Nice. Right, back to Firefox. Much better. It's time to get that icon in. So what we want to do here is we're still within the summary element. Let's add a new rule for summary, but we're going to use the after pseudo element, and we're going to put in content is big X. See that? So just for demo purposes at this moment, so we know what we're doing, let's go put that in as well. Summary. Let's go to our main summary, create a new rule. And because we want to move this to the right, a la our icon's coming, hold tight. Let's get our summary to be display of flex, and our spacing, our justified content, is space between. There we go. There's our X in the right place. Let's get that back into our CSS. Let's actually put it at this top here. So that's cool. Obviously, we don't want an X. No, we don't. We actually want the icon, do we not? So let's go to our media library where I have previously prepared the little down icon here. Clearly, you want to put that in your assets of your theme file. But for quickness sake, I've just dropped it into the media library. Back to our front end, and where we've got this after, let's do a little bit of work on this. So content now needs to be nothing. Ooh, jumps there. But what we need is a background image, and that image is a URL, and it is our URL, which is showing absolutely nothing. So let's do a height of, say, 20px and a width of 20px and a background size of contain, and there we go. We have got an arrow. We've got two arrows. That's because we also need to add background repeat of no repeat. And there we go. We got it. Now we're looking pretty good here at the moment. That's cool. Let's grab that after. Let's copy that complete rule and dump it in our CSS. Where are we after? So we're going to overwrite that X. Let's have a look at what we've got. Hard refresh. Everything's looking sweet. I would say we're going to do some spacing and stuff with these groups. In fact, let's do that quickly now. So on the group here, because now we've got this arrow here. In fact, let's give that a hard refresh as well so we can bring that CSS through, because I've enqueued that into the admin block theme editor as well. Yeah, so we want this to have a little bit of padding on the right. So on that group, I would say, let's jump over there, get the padding opened up, and put a little bit of padding there so that it doesn't get in the way of the arrow. Makes sense? I think so. Let's just delete those two and duplicate those again so we don't have to keep doing our work. And this is, again, one of the little downsides of it. You know, there should be a sort of an Accord, you know, the global settings for all the details blocks underneath. So let's have a look in the front end, and cool, that's all looking great. Now the arrow doesn't get interfere with the text of the other stuff. So that's cool. Now you may notice that when we are on our demo, when we click on one of these, we've got an icon change. Now that's actually not an icon change, it's just the arrows flipping up and down. So let us do that as well really quickly. It's very simple. Actually, let's show you on the front end here. So on our after, so here we go. Look, let's inspect this one to make sure we're on the right one. So yes, now have a look at this. Look for the details. Do you see we've got this open state here? If we tick that off, it goes away. So we can target that with that open attribute. Let me show you what I mean. So let's get a new summary rule going, and it's going to be after again. But remember, we're targeting the open state. So before the summary, we need the square brackets and open in there. So we're saying if the details is open, the summary after should rotate 180 degrees. Look at that. Oh, they're all open. So let's make this a bit more. There, you see what I mean? Pretty cool, right? Before we do that, let's just grab our rule and slam that in our CSS. Cool. Now you may have spotted something here. See, there's a bit of misalignment here. That is because on our original after, we need to do a background position of center, and everything will sort itself out. Copy that, get back in our CSS. And that, Madame and Monsieur, is a much better looking multiple detail block section. But wait, are we not missing something very important here from our example? Let's have a look. What about this whole thing where we've got animation, and when you click on one, it hides the other one and all that stuff, and you click on, and it just, yeah, all the sexy stuff. We need some of that, don't we? And that's going to be with a bit of JS. So let's go and sort that out. Now, I'm not going to lie, the JS is pretty chunky. I mean, not massively chunky, but you know, we're not going to do this line by line together, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to trust me that this works. I'm just going to dump the code in the description. You can download it and fill your boots. Yes, you can. But let's have a quick review. It says, okay, don't run this JS when you're in the admin, because that really messes things up, because you need the default stuff of what the details summary click does. And anyway, it looks for all the accordions. Now, what's the accordions? It's saying look for accordion group. So the two things we've got to do is add the JS to our theme, and also some classes to our HTML structure. One is the accordion group, which is the main group, and the other one is this details content, which is the individual content of the details. That will be revealed. First up, let's get this copied and into our theme. Now with the blank block starter theme, I've got an asset folder with a blank JS file in there. So we're just going to paste that in there. If you haven't got that in your theme, make a child theme, please, or use a snippet plugin, preferably not. Or you might just be building something from scratch, so just do it that way. Super cool. Right, so our JS is in. Let's talk about those classes. The accordion group is the main group of our set of details, which would be that. Don't worry about there's a headline there. It doesn't affect that. So the group is our accordion group there. And back to our JS. This, what else the JS is doing is looking for details and opening them, closing them, and toggling them, and adding animation to them, and all that sort of stuff. Thank you, ChatGPT, for helping me refine this lovely little bit of code here. Link is in the description for your copy. Okay, let's apply that class to the group. So it's the hidden stuff that we're applying it to, not the main details block. It's the stuff that we've grouped together to show and hide. So let's put that on there. In fact, let's just delete those two. Duplicate, save us having to repeat our work. That's cool. That's saved. Let's see what's happening in the front end, shall we? Hard refresh. Ooh. Open, close. Open. Open, closes. We love a bit of slide in, slide out, do we not? That's very cool. And just in case you were wondering, this is where ChatGPT did help me out a little bit. I made sure that we can actually add 2 lots of these in our page. So you can have different sets of things and they don't interfere with each other. You open one, doesn't close the other. Everything is independent for each set of accordion groups. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute blinding way of very quickly turning the very boring details blog into something rather special. Link to download all that code is in the description. And if you want a little bit more WordPress block theming action, tips and tricks, next video right here. Anyway, until next time, I shall see you later.